Hey everyone. So obviously you can see I am not in class. So I just recorded this video so that I could go through a couple of things and then do a little review about what you should be working on. So I have posted under our week 6 folder this summative game, dungeon game creating project. And this is an overview of the summative that will be due on March 17th. And so in this project, you will be designing the dungeon themed game that we've been working on that expands on your skills you developed in the card game project. Your game will challenge players to navigate a dungeon, collect key objects, and interact with toggled elements to reach a final goal. And what I did is I created a checklist for you, and I've split it into two parts. The first part is core features that we've already covered from the card game that you need to implement into this dungeon theme game. So things that are on that list are the win screen, the lose screen, a collection object that is like a cumulative, like coins or gems that will be tallied into a score counter, as well as find a final goal destination that you can determine using a sprite overlap. These are the elements that we've already covered in that card game. So you should be referencing and taking a look at what you did in that project, looking at some of the screenshots, looking at your journal, and taking those notes and kind of applying them to this dungeon game that we've already started building. The new additions for this project are going to be the collection object boolean, which is our key, right? So it's a key that you collect, you destroy, and that changes our boolean to true, that then allows you to unlock a door. The toggle object boolean is our switch that you can collide with, and that causes something to be activated or deactivated. In our case, your switch will deactivate your door, your second door, and will then resume and will come back and automatically reset after a certain amount of wait time. The other unique thing that we need to have in this project is two different unique door sprites. And these are one door for the key sprite, right? So when we collect the key, that key can open this door. And then another completely different door that is activated by the switch. Um, these are the requirements in order for you to get a proficient on this summative. Uh, to get an exemplary, we're looking at how we can go above and beyond. And so that could be creating unique assets and changing artwork. It could be coming up with unique gameplay, and really anything that you can do in order to elevate this kind of template that we've built out to make it your own game and make it a unique experience that only your game has. So the exemplary is really how can you go above and beyond, and the proficient is that you hit and you do all of these elements very, very well. All right. So the next thing I wanted to do is I wanted to go through the two screenshots that I've posted, so that you can see clearly like what the two different types of logic are that we're programming. The two screenshots are in our week 5 dungeons folder. And on the top one, and I will relabel these so that you can see it more clearly, but this top one is going to be your key boolean, and then this bottom one is your switch boolean. The key boolean looks like this. So the very first thing you need to do is at the top of this page here, you're declaring a global boolean variable called key, and you're setting it by default to false. The next piece of logic that we need to put in is when the player box is colliding with the key, we are changing this Boolean variable. We're setting the key to true. So that means that your player now has that item. And then we're destroying the key And by destroying the key, we're making it disappear from the map, and it gives the illusion that the player is like picking the key up and it's theirs now. The next set of logic we need to apply is the system Boolean set. And this looks like this. It's system is key. And so it's basically saying, is key, is it true? Is it true that we have the key? If we have the key, then we create this sub-event. Remember, this indentation here means that it's a sub-event. The keyboard shortcut to make a sub-event is going to be the letter S. You can also right-click on the system area, and it will actually show you a sub-event, add new sub-event. We're looking for add new sub-event. Don't add blank sub-event. We don't want to do that yet. And you can tell that you've done it correctly if you get a block that is indented like this. You're going to take a player box collision with the door, and then you're going to destroy it. And so what this whole phrase of language here is saying is that if you have the key, right, if that's true, and you are next to and colliding with the door, you're going to destroy it. But if you don't have the key, this block, this indented block, will not execute, and it will not destroy the door. Okay. So then our second set of Boolean logic that you need to apply today, if you haven't done so already, is, and you can ignore this key statement right here. We're going to start right on this player box, is you're going to declare at the top a Boolean switch variable, and by default, you're going to set it to true. And so it's because our switch is actually turned on when we start our game. On the player box right here, we're going to do a collision event with the switch, and that's what's going to toggle this variable to false. And you can think about it like true means that the switch is on, false means that the switch is off, right? Just like a regular light switch would work. True and false, on and off. So once we collide with that, it's going to set this to false, right? And then we need to employ two more pieces of logic. This one right here is another is Boolean set variable, and it's a system command, and it's saying, is the switch true? Well, by default, it's true. So yes, when we load the game, the switch is true. And then we're going to set the switch animation that we've imported to frame 0. Remember that because we're using a 0 indexing language, 0 is actually the first frame, right? So we have a frame 0. It's a real number. It exists. All right, so that is checking if our switch is true. It's going to set it to the first frame of our animation, which is our green switch, which is on. Next, we're going to add this else block. This is an event. And to get this else statement, you control-click on your system. It will be an option in the drop-down menu, and it will say else. And so what else is it's basically saying, if the switch is true, we're going to do this. Otherwise, else, we're going to do this. So if the switch is not true, we're going to do this line of code. So our first line here is going to be to set our animation frame to 1, which is going to be the switch off, which is red. We're going to set our door, our second door, right? This is not our first door. This is a unique object. It's our second door. We're going to set it to be invisible. And we're going to turn our solid off. We're going to disable our solid. So this means that the door is not going to be seen, and we can walk right through that space. If you do not add this disabled solid, you're not going to be able to walk through that space. So even though the visibility, like the door we can't see, it still actually exists in the computer's memory, and the boundaries, that collision boundary still exists until we turn the solid off. Then we're going to add the system wait command. And you can set this to however long you feel is necessary. But this is going to be a delay, and it's going to pause actions from happening until 3 seconds elapses. Then we're going to have a system, and we're going to set this back to true, right? So it's going to go from being off and the door being invisible to now our variable is going to go back to true. So our switch is going to turn back to animation frame 0. And we're going to turn our visibility back on, as well as enabling our solids again. So this logic right here from this player box down is what's going to be required or necessary to operate our Boolean switch logic. And again, this is for the 2 new additions. I just want to reiterate that if we go back to our summative here, you pay attention that this is our full checklist of what we need to have. Other additions that you can add are enemies. You can add little boundaries like the cones like we had before. You can add things that can harm your player. You can add holes in if you want. And the goal here is that we're all working as a team. So I would love to see everybody help each other to make sure that all of this work right here is executed across everybody's game. If you finish all of this, what I am looking for you to do is to start to customize this game and to make it your own. Make your own artwork, make your own mechanics, add in enemies, add in things that you like, whatever you can dream up, put it in so that it feels like it's authentically your experience that you've created. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what you guys come up with when I return to class on Tuesday. If you have any questions or you're stuck, please use the messages tab over here in Schoology and send me a message. And as soon as I have some free time, I will take a look at that and I will respond to you. And I try to check when I have a summative project like this, I try to check it even over the weekend once a day. Because I know that some of you will be using your Chromebooks over the weekend to try to make some progress on this. So please, 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 if you have a question, if you're stuck, send me a message so that I can help you. I look forward to seeing everybody on Tuesday, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day and a great weekend.